Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly. This is the show where I give you guys the top 5 prog headlines for the week, talk about the top 5 prog singles that I've come across, and give you updates and information about the channel. So hopefully you enjoy this series. I enjoy doing it a lot. It's been a great year for the channel and for New Music Weekly, so glad you guys have joined me. And please subscribe if you haven't yet. If you watch these shows regularly, it would just really help me to see more subscribers. It gives me more confidence and just helps the channel in a lot of ways. Also a like and a comment and all of those things is much appreciated as well. But really I'm just happy for you guys being here with me and being able to be part of this, and so thank you guys so much for your support through the year. So first of all, in our prog news headlines, item number 1, there's quite a bit of prog touring news that I am hearing going around. A lot of bands setting up their tours for 2023. I heard about Riverside announcing the first of 3 European tours to support their new album, which is coming out soon. ID Entity coming out January 20th next year. So they have dates through April, spanning the Netherlands, Ireland, the UK, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland. So that's the first leg of their European tour. They also have announced dates in North America before that for February and March. So definitely going to be an active touring cycle for Riverside. And looks like there may be more dates to come even beyond those. So they're really going out there. On the North American tour dates, they're being supported by the Siberium Duo opening for them. And so that should be really cool. And then Europe, there should be a lot of fun to be had. So look up those dates on their website. Also, Haken announced that they're doing a tour to celebrate their upcoming album Fauna, which comes out March 3rd. So another huge album, another big prog band that's releasing a really notable release next year in the early part of the year. So these dates are in North America starting in May 3rd in Nashville, moving through the US and ending in June. So that should be a really fun time. They're being joined by Arc Echo as their support act, which is an incredible prog metal instrumental act that I've really enjoyed over the years. So this should be a really great time to enjoy the band Haken and to see what they have to offer. It should be a remarkable tour. They're always incredible live, definitely worth checking out. And so those are some new tours that are coming next year that should be exciting to visit. Next, item number 2, I wanted to talk about Norwegian progressive group AVKRVST, signing with InsideOutMusic. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name, but it's a Norwegian progressive rock group, AVKRVST, who have signed with InsideOutMusic / Sony Music for their debut album, which will come out next year. They were founded by Martin Utby and Simon Bergseth, 2 musicians and friends who grew up together and been playing tons of gigs with all kinds of different bands, but never together until now with this group. And they've shared a little bit of a teaser video of them working in the studio to give you an idea of what they might sound like. And it sounds like they have a lot of cool inspirations based on bands that I listen to and have promoted on the channel. They're inspired by bands like Mew, Anecdote, Porcupine Tree, Opeth, Neil Morse, and King Crimson. So a big smattering of different types of stuff. There's some heavier bands that they're inspired by, but also Neil Morse style prog as well. So that should make for a really cool blend of different styles and different things. All the music for this upcoming album has been written in a small cabin deep in the Norwegian forests. Simon and Martin have been joined by Øystein Adland on bass and keys, Edvard Syme on guitars, and Aver Guerin on keys. So a really interesting lineup. Thomas Weber, the Inside Out label manager, says that we're really happy with the signing of AVKRVST, a young new band from Norway. I'm convinced they'll find audience in the current scene, looking forward to building a future together. So I'm always excited when new bands are signed to Inside Out, because to me they're one of the premier progressive rock music labels, and I think anytime they sign a new band, it's a band worthy of some attention in the prog space and could be a great new debut album to check out next year. So we'll keep our finger on that pulse into next year and see what that brings. Item number 3, Nightwish's Floor Jansen announces debut solo album Paragon, which is coming out March 24th next year. Paragon will see Floor Jansen move away from the symphonic metal she's known for with Nightwish and more into a pop-oriented direction with some great melodies and powerful ballads driven by her dazzlingly impressive vocals. She's released a few singles that I've even mentioned on the show already. I believe Fire was one of them. And they sound really good. I think her voice sounds incredible on them, and it's cool to see her taking a new direction. I think it's going to be a fun project. Really a big fan of her vocals, and of course me and Jana have covered Nightwish before on the channel through our reactions, and so I wanted to mention any updates in that camp. It seems like Flora will also go on to a tour in the Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, kicking off on April 11th. Paragon will be available digitally as well as physically on CD, vinyl, and a limited edition box set. So this should be a really cool release. And it comes off the heels of the news that she's free of cancer. She had a little bit of a cancer scare this year, but underwent some breast cancer surgery to eradicate it, and it seems like it went super well, and that she's cancer-free at the moment, and everything is fine with her. So a little bit of an update on that front as well. So she's doing great. The new album sounds like it's going to be really fun. A great pop-oriented album from her, featuring her incredible vocals. A little bit of a diversion from her stuff with Nightwish, but I think it'll be a pleasant one. Item number 4, Porcupine Tree are releasing a deluxe version of their classic album Deadwing, a deluxe hardback book 3 CD Blu-ray edition, due out on March 3rd through Transmission/Kscope. The CDs include a 2018 remaster of the album by Steven Wilson, B-sides, additional tracks, and over 70 minutes of Deadwing demos, offering a rare insight into the creative process of the album. The Blu-ray that's included with the package features a new making-of documentary, the Lazarus promo video, Deadwing remastered in 96/24 LPCM stereo, B-sides in 96/24 LPCM stereo, Deadwing albums with 4 bonus tracks and 5.1 surround. And 77 minutes Rock Palast Germany broadcast from 2005, and then a 108-page book containing an in-depth history of the band by Stephen Humphries, plus rare photographs taken from Leslie Hoyle and the band's personal archives. So just a massive set celebrating their 2005 release Deadwing, which I think is one of their best albums. I know some people prefer Fear of a Blank Planet and In Absentia, but I think it's right in the mix with those albums as one of their classics of that period. A little bit of a heavier direction, but really some great hooks, some great melodies, and really dialed into their sound, and they have some great progressive moments on it as well. So it really features all the aspects that I love about the band in this great compact album, and I really am excited for this big set that should be a really fun way to re-explore the album with some extra goodies and extra things in the packaging, so that should be really fun. Item number 5, just a little short story on, as an aside, a little bit. Kind of an unfortunate event, actually. Rick Wakeman had his gear stolen while he's been on his recent tour, the Grumpy Christmas Stocking Tour of the UK. He had a van load of gear stolen while staying in Birmingham. A van parked in a hotel car park on the outskirts of the city was broken into, and several items of gear was stolen. The equipment is of no commercial value, as it's customized and programmed for Rick's exclusive use. Plus, all serial numbers and other identifiers are on record, so it can easily be recognized if it's put up for sale. However, it's invaluable and largely irreplaceable, according to a spokesman for Rick Wakeman, with very particular gear that's very centered to his style and to his playing. And so there's he was able to perform an amended set at Birmingham Town Hall the night following the theft, based on some hard work from the tech who's involved with him, and he'll be able to pick up the tour again. So it's not really affecting the tour itself, but it's just an unfortunate event that he got his gear stolen, and it's sad that this sort of thing happens. And I've heard it happen to various bands, that this happens to them, and maybe sometimes their gear gets recovered later down the line, sometimes not so much. So just an unfortunate experience from Rick Wakeman, who of course is a hugely notable prog figure for being in Yes and being such a wizard at the keyboards, and some of his solo stuff has been really renowned. And so I just wanted to mention that as one of the headlines that struck my attention. Prog singles this week. There's a couple of really cool ones here that I've put in the mix, even some holiday themed ones because we're fast approaching the holidays here. Number 1 is Redemption, a new track called I Am the Storm. Redemption is a prog metal sextet from the US, one of the premier prog metal bands, really a band that I really loved in their heyday in the 2000s and so forth. I really love some of those albums, so it's cool to see them come back into the forefront. This is the follow-up to their 2017 album, Long Night's Journey and Today. This will be released, the album itself that this single's from, is going to be released on March 17th. So that should be exciting to get into. This is the title track, I Am the Storm, so the album itself is called I Am the Storm. So really good progressive metal that I really recommend checking out. They're really top-notch musicians and just one of the premier level prog metal bands out there. So definitely want to bring attention to that single. Neil Morse Band released a single of Seemingly Sincere from their Live at Morse Fest 2020 collection. A little too many 20s in there. 2020 collection. Which is a really great live performance. I'm linking all of the YouTube clips to all these things below, so check that out. Of course, that track's from Solo Gratia, which they performed in its entirety during this Morse Fest. Number 3 track is Clones Bystander, a really cool new track from them. They have a really cool alternative melodic progressive rock style that's very modern and very fresh, and so that's a really cool thing from French prog rock Quintet Clone. Really great video to check out below from their upcoming album Meanwhile, which will be coming out February 10th next year. Another big album to check out. And then, like I said, a couple of holiday themed tracks. Kingfisher Skies track Winter Waltz is a really delightful acoustic style, old school style Christmas song, Christmas carol perhaps. And so it's based on a Scandinavian folk tune. And it's just really well done, a great video to check out, so check that one out. And then item number 5, Les Pinning and Rob Reed with a cover of Stop the Cavalry, Jonah Louie's anti-war song, which is also a Christmas atmosphere, Christmas song. Sounds very much in the style of like Mike Oldfield as well, which Rob Reed has been doing a lot of in his solo work. So a really cool track if you're wanting something a little bit festive perhaps, and meaningful as well because of the anti-war message. And so those are the singles that I have for you guys. So really interesting smattering of news in there. Hopefully you enjoyed the things that I've discussed here. For the channel itself, it's totally year-end mode for the channel. I did my top 25 songs of the year, regardless of length and genre. They're all pretty much right in the wheelhouse of prog. But there are some epics on the list, some shorter songs, so it's a good variety. I recommend you check it out. I did it a little bit in a laid-back, more casual style, just listening through some of these songs and talking about them. So that's a really cool episode that I would recommend to you guys. But I have some album year-end stuff coming out soon that I think you guys will really like. Also, a big year-end new music shuffle where I'm talking about 32 albums that I missed throughout the year, or that have just come out recently that I wanted to touch on. I'm going to do very quick reviews for all of these. Try to keep the show around 30 minutes long. Basically do 30 plus album reviews in 30 minutes is the concept. And so I'm going to keep that really tight and just give you guys a few really cool last minute album recommendations of some things that I think are really notable. And this is a really strong list of albums, some rivaling some of the big albums that I've covered throughout the year. So really good show. Really recommend that. It's one of the shows I get most excited to do each year. And so I hope you guys will check that one out. Great Jana Reacts, or Prog Song Sunday rather, coming out this Sunday. That's going to be a really great one. A modern prog epic. That's one of my favorites. So I think you're going to really enjoy that. And the week after that, we're going to do more of a Christmas flavored song, because it's actually going to be coming out on Christmas Day, Christmas morning. So that should be a really fun one as well. And then I just have this big year-end album countdown list that I'm working on. I'm going to do the top 16 albums in a tournament style like I did last year. And then I'm going to do albums 40 through 17. A little bit of almost an honorable mention list before getting to that top 16. I'm going to do a show just based on those albums that just didn't quite make the cut for the top 16, but are also really remarkable, great albums this year. So really fascinating, great year for music. Really a lot of great things to check out. And then it's spilling out into the next year, so we'll see what the next year holds for music. Looks like there's a lot of great releases coming out right at the forefront of the year, so it should be a great year for Prog, great year for the channel. There'll be some minor tweaks and updates, but nothing too substantial. Pretty much business as usual for most of you, and it should be a fun time. So thank you guys for joining me on this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. This may be the last New Music Weekly of the year. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one next week. It may depend on if there's any big major news items, but at the moment I'm leaning towards ending it for the year at this point and then resuming it a couple weeks into the new year, because there's a couple other conflicts at the beginning of January that might mean I don't have some shows early on in the month, but they'll be coming soon. So that's where my head's at. And so we'll see how that goes. But if something major breaks this week, or if there just is a lot of things that I find newsworthy, I may come out with a show anyways next weekend, so we'll see. But at the moment, I'm planning to basically take the holidays off in a sense for certain shows, and focus more on the year-end album countdowns and things that I'm planning. So thank you guys again for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to catch you in a future episode. Thank you guys. Thanks for all the support. Enjoy the music. Bye.